So, Court, you're a long-time fan of SoccerX, long-time attendee. What are you looking at this year, and how does it compare with previous examples?
Well, I'll tell you, the program here in North America grows as the sport has grown. I've been in this business 25 years, worked in soccer, very blessed to do that in the United States. And it's kind of gone from, is it going to survive, to how big can it be, right? And so to be able to see SoccerX grow with that, is really fun. So it's great to have everyone down here in Miami.
Yeah, Miami seems to be the centre of where it's all happening for North American soccer now. With FIFA are moving in here. We got the World Club Cup coming up, and then the World Cup. I can remember a period 30 years ago coming to the World Cup as an English journalist, and it wasn't really. It went under the radar a little bit. I think it would be different this time around. Yeah,
it's going to be a massive party, right? Not only is it going to be 30 years after the 1994 World Cup, right? And a lot of things have changed in soccer in this country. But I think it's also important to remember that the World Cup has changed. So with 48 teams and more matches than ever, this is going to be the largest sporting event in the history of the world. So I'm with the new professional franchise in Oklahoma City that is launching soccer here. We don't have World Cup games, but we are 2 hours north of Dallas, who has plenty of games, and we're about 4 or 5 hours south of Kansas City, who has a lot of games. There is no doubt the 1.5 million people in Oklahoma City are going to feel the excitement of the World Cup as it comes to our shores for a second time.
And I was speaking to Don Garber recently in London, and he was saying even the Euros, people were captivated. On a beautiful hot day, they were sitting indoors watching some of the games, maybe some of the lesser games, Croatia against Lithuania or whatever. But
I don't know if the Croatians would agree that that's a lesser game, but, fair enough.
I would say, for example. But no, the interest has just gone through the roof. And come the World Cup, it's going to be something else, isn't it?
It is. Again, I'll use that example. It's no longer how, is it going to survive, but how big can it be? The other way I like to think about it is someone that sold tickets for a Major League Soccer team in 2001 is as much growth as we have seen in the last 20, 25 years. We're going to see that same amount of growth, another revolution of the boulder, if you will, in the next 5 years. And so it will just be that soccer is part of the casual conversation here, just like any other U.S. sport. And so that's, for someone that's been in this business 25 years, that's incredibly rewarding. It's also incredibly exciting to think what happens beyond then. What happens in a place like Oklahoma City that's not had professional soccer in this way before? And what can we do? How can we grow the sport? How can we be part of the global game? It's going to be a very exciting 5 years for us.
And where does US soccer go after that? Because obviously it's about developing infrastructure on a club level, taking up professionalism rising, and then all the clubs competing at the highest level. And the US men's team, can they go on and win a World Cup?
Absolutely. There's no question. So I spent, we were talking before, a decade at Major League Soccer in the International Business Group, leading that. And then I also spent 6 years at the United Soccer Leagues as the Chief Commercial Officer, which is the second and third division here in the United States. We have 350 million people with more buying power than Europe in this country. The real trick for U.S. soccer, and that's with a lowercase U.S., right? The entire country, us. The trick is going to be to make sure all of those markets, not just Major League Soccer, not just National Women's Soccer League, but all of our country has a touch point for professional soccer, women and men professional soccer, and that will help us achieve the ultimate goal of being a soccer nation. In a lot of ways, we are a soccer nation already. The Copa America and the the UEFA Euros this year that just happened achieved ratings that were on par with the Major League Baseball World Series. So people are watching, and they're watching in more ways than ever.
And they're educated about the game as well. Are we going to see that sort of the transatlantic movement come, more and more Americans coming to Europe and maybe more Europeans going into the MLS?
I think so. I think the exchange will continue to grow, mainly because of the talent, right? As you see, and I used to deal a lot in what I call the import business, the Tottenhams of the world, or Arsenal, Man U, PSG, you name it. They would come over and say, gosh, we need to harness the talent here. But they wouldn't really understand how to tackle a country as large as ours. 4 time zones, 60, 70 cities that have more than 1 million population in their catchment areas, right? What they're starting to do now is mainly through the leagues, right? The English Premier League, Serie A, et cetera. They're starting to build consistent platforms of engagement, right? To complement what Major League Soccer, the National Women's Soccer League, and USL are doing. So what that ultimately does, it creates a larger business ecosystem. So it's no longer a thing they're doing because they feel like they have to be here because of the talent. They're doing it because it's going to grow, and they want to be a part of that growth.
Fantastic. Well, it sounds like a story that's going to grow and grow, and we're looking forward to the World Cup. And it's lovely to have some time with you, Court.
I really appreciate it. What I would do, last thing if I can say, is encourage everyone to follow a story. The story we're going to have is we're building a new professional soccer club for women and men in Oklahoma City, which is the group I'm representing now. And I think of it this way. We've got a massive city. We have a National Basketball Association team in the Thunder who competes on a global level through the NBA. But we get a chance to start professional soccer from scratch. So if you think back 125, 150 years for a lot of those professional clubs in Europe, those are the days we're at.
Yeah.
And to be really part of the story is to join the OKC for Soccer movement. So you don't have to be from my city or my state, but I would engage the global fans of SoccerX to say, hey, it would be fun to watch a team that gets built from the ground up and be in those early days of club football and join the movement and be a part of it, be a fan.
It's the classic American dream, isn't it? Build it and they'll come.
That's exactly what we've got.
Fantastic. Great to speak to you, Court.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.